Hey everyone, welcome back to Open. Our last guest is a young pop artist on the rise. Her authenticity and raw emotion has the power to connect with people from all different walks of life. Growing up loving music and dreaming of being a pop star, everything was put on pause when she started struggling with depression and the passing of her brother. Since then, Kyler began putting those indescribable feelings into song, and songwriting became her most effective tool in healing and coping as she navigated through treatment for her mental health. She is now an advocate for mental health awareness and encourages people to have open conversations about their emotions. And even more so, she wants to be able to let people know that they're not alone. You guys are not alone. We're not alone. We're all in this together. Here now to share more is singer-songwriter Kyler St. Phard. Hello and welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to share you with our viewers. Aside from your magnificent music,
Thank you.
yeah, I really enjoy your flavor. And then of course the prolific language that's inside of it, which is what we're going to discuss, right? So I did mention the passing of your brother, but what I didn't mention is how he passed, because I wanted you to share with everyone when and what occurred and the impact it had on you. And if you wouldn't mind like sharing the age more or less of when everything kind of shifted for you. I just want to let our viewers know that she did audition for American Idol as well, which we have footage of, but it didn't make the airwaves. So I just wonder like what all this roller coaster ride looked like in a timeline.
Yeah, so my freshman year of high school, when I was 15, my older brother, Kobe, he was a senior. And in March 2016, when he was 18, he died by suicide. So that was really just a completely life-altering event. He was a very popular kid and a star athlete, and everybody knew him. He was kind of known for putting a smile on everyone's face. And so it was very much a shock to a lot of people, and it sent shockwaves through our community. At that point in time, I had to stop going to school because it was too difficult. So I ended up going online and just kind of navigating all of that, the grief process, having everybody around and kind of in our business was a lot to deal with at 15. And tried to distract myself as much as I could at first, but the more I leaned into it, the more music really became my best device at carrying on. And that includes both like listening to artists that I love and admire and also writing my own music. And writing is something that I've always loved, and I've been doing it forever. I think I probably started writing songs when I was like second or third grade, and they weren't much good for a while. But when I personally started struggling with depression, I was about 12 years old when it got bad. And before I really knew what that was, the only way I knew how to talk about it or describe it was to write songs about it. And there's one song in particular that is actually going to be my next single that is really close to my heart because I wrote it from a very, very vulnerable place where I felt lonely and scared, and I felt like nobody knew what was going on with me, because especially when you're that young, your friends and your teachers and stuff, they don't really know. And when I was in middle school, it was not something that was talked about enough. So writing this song really helped me kind of figure out.
What's the name of it, if you don't mind sharing?
It's called Puzzle Pieces.
Puzzle Pieces. And the reason I asked is because 12 years young is, I'm a mom to a 12 years young. So I understand what you're talking about, like wholeheartedly, in the sense of navigating through your own identity and trying to figure out where you belong or how you belong, or if you even matter. Like there's all kinds of stuff coming up. And that is like, if you don't have the outlet to express that, that's a lot to bottle up.
Exactly. And when I was really starting to deal with depression, all of the things that used to make me happy, they didn't anymore. And I kind of lost who I was. And writing this song Puzzle Pieces was so helpful and healing to me. And I when I wrote it, I was writing it as a letter to myself to keep going and pushing through. And I really like the metaphor of a puzzle because I think the puzzle represents, who you are as a person in your whole life. And how I felt when my depression came on was that, some of these pieces that came together to make me were missing. And so I put this song together, and I kind of kept it to myself for a few years. But after my brother passed away, I wanted other people to hear it. And it actually is one of maybe 2 or 3 songs I've written that my brother did get to hear before he passed away. So that's also really cool to me. But once my brother passed away, people actually started listening to me, which, obviously him passing was a horrible thing, but, there were a few things that came from it that were really important and, have become good things. And I think what makes me most proud, especially about my whole family, is that we've managed to make a lot of good come from this. And we've, leaned into just using the attention that we got to hopefully spread a good message. My family started a charity. It's called the Be the Light Foundation, in honor of my brother. And we really just want to promote, talking about mental health and having conversations. And we've especially been focusing on reaching out to teens because, that's where I was when I started struggling, and that's where my brother was when he passed away. So I think that music is just this really cool, unique way that I can share what I've been through and reach out to people and, just let them know that what you're dealing with is not, this crazy freak thing, and there are other people struggling, and it's not your fault. You can absolutely get help and get better.
And so, what was the name of the organization again?
We created the organization, and it's called the Be the Light Foundation.
Be the Light.
Yes.
Be the Light.
After my brother passed away, all of his classmates wrote on little note cards memories that they had of him. And so many of them described him as being a light and how he would light up a room and make others really happy. And we wanted to really cherish that and hold on to that. And so we named the foundation after that as a way to honor him and continue on his legacy.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And then, of course, you do it through songwriting. So how many songs do you have under your belt or already? And what is your primary messaging within the storytelling, right? Is it coming from your introspective thoughts, or is it from experiences, or is it both? Like, I just to help us understand like how the actual songwriting has become your healing mechanism.
So as I mentioned, I've been writing songs for a while now. At this point in time, I only have one officially released, but I have dozens and dozens of songs that I've written. And what I think is really cool about songwriting is that you don't have to stick to one method of it. So some of my early songs are definitely more of me coming from my perspective. But as I've grown up and met more people and gone through more things, I find myself more frequently writing from somebody else's perspective. And I have a really strong sense of empathy, and that can actually be very overwhelming. So music is another way to like cope with that as well. And I've found that like writing songs about other people's experiences really helped me to figure out how I feel about my own. And, I'll start writing a song from somebody else's perspective, and then I'll find myself throwing in lines that, specifically relate to me. And I don't ever want to like box myself in, if I just kind of write songs as they come out and as they're meant to happen, whether one line's from somebody else's perspective and the other one's mine or whatever, but just whatever really just makes the best song and makes the most sense and tells a good story.
So as we wrap up this segment, can you set us up for the single we're about to hear, Here's To?
Yes. So I decided Here's To would be my debut single because initially just a lot of people were enjoying it, and I thought that'd be a good way to open up my official songbook to the world. I wrote it about a boy I was very much in love with, and we had been through something similar, so we really had a connection, but he didn't feel that same way about me. And I really just spent a lot of time feeling sorry for myself and trying to get over him. And writing this song was just really healing for me, as most music is, because, I kind of went through all of the things that I was feeling. And it almost is like an emotional roller coaster, but it kind of has a happy ending where I'm like, I should be focusing myself. I don't need to waste my time anymore on this. And, I mentioned things that really refer to my mental health, which I think is special because it's a good introduction into that. But it's also, a fun, upbeat pop song. I think a lot of teenagers and young people can relate to it because, it's unrequited love. It's heartbreak, but, you grow and you get through it. And I'm really proud that this is my first song out.
Well, we're proud of you, and thank you for sharing so much. The song definitely loans itself to sharing the importance of what it means to have a connection to yourself. Yeah, that's right. That's Kyler St. Phard. You guys don't go anywhere because when we return, she is going to perform for us after the break and you don't want to miss.